Hello everybody out there, this is Thethrell. I'm on Tiny Mighty today. I'm actually going to try to get a few videos pumped out today. I've had a lot of stuff going on in real life lately, so I haven't been able to do any in a few days, but I've been meaning to do a few. A couple on here, one on League of Angels, and one actually on Wartune, but I'll get more to that later if I actually am able to do that. But anyway, so what I wanted to go through today was this little pain in the ass thing called Energy Treasure. For any of you that played on the alpha server, or anybody like myself that happened to get on the test server before the alpha server, this was kind of a decent thing, gave some good rewards. Now it kind of just gives some garbage. It did give you stuff that used to really it kind of gave you almost like a legendary weapon type thing if you want to compare it to other games, but now it just gives you basically stuff that your gold spin in Lucky Draw gives you. So nothing spectacular about this. You do get a little bit of gold, yada yada yada. You get one attempt a day. And so we'll go ahead and start this off fresh. I've got some new heroes, maybe I could, anyway. Okay, so the way this works is kind of like a board game. You start out with a certain number of moves, and you just hit the start button. I don't know why it makes you do that, but some of the boards, it's never set up the same way. And what I mean by that is you will see some of the same boards, but when I start again tomorrow, Tier 1 will most likely not be the same board. So on certain boards you have different options. Your ultimate goal is to try to get as far as possible. When you first start doing this, I don't remember what level this unlocks, 30, 35, something like that. When you first start doing it, you'll be able to beat these little battles pretty easily, and then you may make it to 5, 6, 7, 8, something like that, and then you'll get stuck. But there's two ways really to lose on this. The first is if you lose the battle, and the second is if you run out of moves. So you have to watch for both of those things, and this is really where the strategy of this thing comes into play. There's really, let me think, I think 4 different things that can happen in this game. Well, not counting the little free spaces, but as far as things that you have to click on, you have these little guys with the helmet, and what's going to happen if you click on these guys is you get to fight. It'll show you exactly who you're going to be fighting, just these little non-name NPC characters there that you can see, and if you manage to beat this, you get 2 additional moves added. So since moving from this space to this space costs you 1 move, basically you get 1 free move added, and this move costs you nothing. So anyway, it adds 2 moves. If you click on one of these blue chests, you don't have to fight, but it gives you something, a boot or armor or something, you know, just some low-level items. If you get these red chests, you have to do a little fight, and it doesn't give you the +2 moves, but it gives you one of the items from the blue chest. So you kind of have to work for it a little bit. And then the 4th thing is these dice that appear, and these are really what you need to try to go for when you can. And just like any die, they can roll from 1 to 6. If you roll a 1, it really sucks. 6 is really helpful. And these are really where the strategy comes in. For example, you look at this board. To clear a board, you just have to get to the next. You don't have to beat everything on the board. You don't have to click anything on the board, but you do have to get there. If you land on something, you have to be able to pass that, so I can't just skip over this thing and go. But once you finish a level, the next day when you go back to that level, as you can see, you don't have to do the battles anymore. It assumes that you're going to win. So this is really another big strategy game, and a big luck thing. So because there are some boards where you can completely skip all the battles and go on to the next level. And this is one of my problems with this game right now. This game has a lot of really stupid things, but there's a hot event, new server event, whatever you want to call it, for whoever gets the furthest in this. But a lot of this is based on luck. There are actually weaker players getting further than me and the other top players just because they get lucky boards. And the rewards in the hot events for anybody that plays this, you notice, are just amazing. They have really, really awesome rewards, but they only go for the first place person. I was actually on a chat with one of the company managers a few days ago, and I brought up all this stuff to him. Whether anything will actually be fixed or changed, I doubt it. They never really listen to anything I have to say. I've been working with these guys for 9 months now, and they really just a lot of, hey, that's a good ideas and stuff like that, but nothing ever actually gets fixed. So yeah, I mean, you guys, I'm sure, are feeling the frustration as much as I am. Some of the events, the rewards going to the first place guys are just absolutely ridiculous, and it just puts them so far in the lead that even if you try spending diamonds to catch up, you just can't catch up with the free rewards that they're getting. So this game is actually really starting to piss me off in a lot of ways, and I'm sure some of you are getting frustrated with it too. But anyway, back to this silly thing. So once you beat level, you can skip these things. This is where the strategy comes in. You want to try to hit these guys because they give you the +2, as you can see there, and then you want to try to calculate how many moves it's going to take you to get from here to here, how many things you can get to add moves, and whether going out of your way to get chests is worth the extra moves. In this case, it's definitely worth it for me to go up this line because I'm going to get 6 extra moves here, and I have to go up anyway. So first of all, I'll get this little chest. It'll give me a little thingy, a silly little shield. White border means it's not really very valuable, but hey, all these little things help. Free shit's free shit, as you guys have heard me say many times before, and I love free shit. So here we go, some extra moves, and here's where we come into strategy of this. If I want to just go on and finish it, it's going to cost, to get from here, I have to go from here to this one right here, because it's the top row, and then I'll be moving. So really what I need to calculate right now is how many moves it's going to take me to get from here to this red chest, because I'm going to have to end up on this red chest. So right now it can just cost me 1 move, or if I go this way, it's going to cost me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 moves. So the difference of that is 6. And so what you have to look at is I have 2 dice that I can get on if I go all this way, and those 2 dice have to add up to at least 6 for it to be worth it for me. So I have to roll at least a 3 or better on both of them, and the odds of that are pretty good. I mean, if I roll a 1 or 2, that sucks, but if I roll a 2 on this one and then I roll a 4 on that one, that still equals 6, or a 5 on this one, that equals 7. So the chances are good that I'll end up with more moves by going this way than if I just skip it. And if, let me see, if I wanted to just hit this dice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I would have to roll at least a 4. So it actually, as you can see, it actually benefits me to go all the way out here, even though you see all these empty blocks and everything, because chances are in your favor that you'll get more than 6 out of these 2. So hopefully we get lucky. Sometimes the dice suck. I've gotten 1, 1, 1, 1 several times and then end up having to finish early because of it. There we go. So if I don't roll at least a 5, I lost some moves. That's 6. See, so I gained a move there. The red ones, I think they always give you gold, actually, now that I think about it, these little red chests. So let's go on to the next map. You click next. It gives you a little something. You go on to start again. Now I'm at tier 2. You can see the map is completely different. And here's a good example of what I mean by strategy. This would be really, really difficult for you to get all of these things in here. So right now, since there's a hot event for this, I need to gather as many moves as I can. If I were just playing just to play, I would probably go for this one because it has 2 chests on it and it just gives me 2 little extra things, plus this red chest, so I would get a little bit of gold and then a couple extra moves here. But this is also going to give me a couple extra moves, plus it has dice, 2 dice, so I really need to go this way to try to get those extra moves. Like I said, it really depends on what you need to go for. Too many times I've gotten stopped because I just run out of turns, and it's really frustrating, and it's expensive to buy extra turns. It's like 40 diamonds for 1 extra step. And so if you end up in a spot where you're not anywhere close to finishing, it can be pretty costly if you try to buy your way into the next one. Okay, this is a pretty common one. I get this one a lot. So basically, to go from here to here, I could go, well, no matter what, I'm going to end up on this one. So to get from here to here, I could go 1, 2, 3. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there would be a difference of 4. However, you have 2 of these guys, that adds up to 4. So it's the same amount of moves going this way or going this way. If I were at like level 19 or something like that, or a high level for you, sometimes it's better just to go this way, just because you don't have to fight these guys if you're at a spot where you might not beat them. The way the fights work in this is that you fight it. If you lose, you can fight it again, but the heroes that you lost, you don't get to use again. They're dead for this entire level. So trying to figure out what's your best setup for saving moves or saving certain heroes for battle, whatever, really comes into play a lot. But for me, since I can skip the battles, it's the same amount of moves, but I get a little bit of free shit and a little bit of gold, I'm going to go ahead and go this way. It's not a lot of gold, but gold is a bit hard to come by in this game, and you need a lot of it. So, okay, now here's another thing. I know some people would skip these because you just have to move to get a die, but the thing is, to get back to my spot, it'll take me 2 moves. The chances of rolling a 2 or better is pretty good. So the only way you really lose on this is if you roll a 1, which, yeah, it does happen. There, I just gained a move. And that's really what this thing is about, what Energy Treasure is about. There is a lot of luck involved, unfortunately. I don't like things where there's too much luck involved. They just annoy me and piss me off, but unfortunately you have to take it with some games. Now this one's a little bit trickier. This one would take a bit of calculation, because getting from here to here, you could just go straight across this way. I could go here. Here's 2 extra moves and a chest. Here's a chest. Here's a chest. But just doing the quick calculations, what ultimately is going to be the best for me is to go straight here. That's given me 4 extra moves so far. Then I can hit this die for grammar Nazis out there, plus 5 extra moves. That was pretty nice. And then go back up this way. And as you can see, I'm up to 21 moves. If you really want that 10,000 gold, for me it's not worth it right now. I need all the moves I can get, and these are just going to cost me extra moves to go this way, so I'm just going to go ahead and finish it. As you can see, I ended up with more moves than I started with, so that was a good round right there. It doesn't always end that way, but okay, so from here to here would be 3 moves, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 moves. So a difference of 7, but I'm going to get 2 here, so that would bring it down to 5. 2 here, that would bring it down to 3, plus 2 dice. So as long as I get 3 total out of 2 dice, I'm okay. Now I need to roll a 2 for that one, for this, just to make it even. But I did get 2 chests out of it as well, so. And a 6. So there, I gained some more moves. And for here, this basically is going to cost you 2 moves to get this chest. Like I said, I need to save my moves, so I'm just going to skip that chest. I don't need a little white item. There are other ones like this that are fairly straightforward. If you want the extra chests, go ahead and go down this way. But I mean, to start out with, you have to go this way. There's not really any calculation or anything involved there. Another crappy roll. But here's where, if I go here, it costs me 2 moves to get back to my spot. This is only going to give me 2 moves. To get some chests, no, that one's definitely not worth it. Here, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4. I would have to roll at least a 4 to make it worth it. I don't like those odds because a 4 would just make it even. I would have to roll a 5 or 6 to actually make it worth going down this way. You might find it worth it just for that 10,000 gold. I don't find it worth it. I really need to save my moves. So we'll go ahead and skip that one. A lot of these boards you will come across several times, so it will get a little bit easier to just know when, which direction to go and stuff like that. Some of them are pretty straightforward. There are a few, we haven't come across any yet today since I've been recording, but as any of you that play this know, there are some that it's just very obvious which way you have to go. Okay, so this one, it's definitely worth it for me to go out of the way 1 just to get a die 5. That was definitely worth it. Okay, now to get to here, I'm gonna end up having to be on this spot, so I could be 1 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a difference of 4. This is gonna be 2, so I would have to roll at least a 2 to make that worth it. Odds are pretty good. Four. There, I just gained 2 moves and a little bit of gold. A little bit of gold never hurt anybody. Okay. Try to speed this up a little bit. This is one of the very boring things of the game. No, that's not. That would cost me a few moves to go out of the way there, and it doesn't give me anything extra, so I'll just skip that. Trying to just go a little bit quicker without having to explain so much. I'm sure you guys are catching on to the point of all of this. Matter of fact, yeah, I'm on like level 20 or 21 or something, so I think you guys get the point of this. If you have any questions for me, if there's other stuff you want to see recorded, I'm going to do another video on Fairyland. For anybody that watched my previous video on Fairyland, they fixed the glitch, so that kind of sucks. Every time that always happened in Wartune too. Every time I posted a video on how to do something, they would go change it so that people couldn't do do what I was showing anymore. Like some of the Wilds bosses and stuff like that, and some other things in the game. They always just, I swear those bastards, as soon as they watch my video, they go change stuff so that people couldn't use my video. But anyway, if there's anything specific you want to see in this game or in any of the other games I play, just let me know. You can find me on Facebook. Just do a search for Thethrell. You'll find my fan page and my personal page. You can message me, whatever, or just message me on YouTube, and I'll do my best to get an answer for you. Thank you for joining me.